Welcome to the Startup Support Surgery podcast, where we light the entrepreneurial spark in medics and healthcare professionals. Join me, Dr. Jo Watkins, GP, business coach and co-founder of The How People, on a journey to discover where your medical know-how meets the business world. This will help you find some clarity on how to balance work, passions and family so that you can gain more freedom and control over your life, but also continue to help people, which is actually why most of us went into medicine to start with. Embarking on this entrepreneurial adventure is not easy. It is a roller coaster of emotions, but it's hugely rewarding and exciting in the process. Drawing on my 20 years of blending medicine and business as a GP, I am here to share experiences, insights and lessons. Expect lively chats, expert interviews and real-life stories from medics who have taken their own path. Let's break free from traditional healthcare norms and explore more innovative ways of making a real difference to people's health and well-being, along with paving the way for a brighter future for us as healthcare professionals. Oh, don't miss my free PDF called From Stethoscope to Startup, which is an 11-page guide in the show notes full of practical help and advice. This is your roadmap to kickstarting your journey with us. Enjoy the show. I am super excited to welcome somebody I consider a great friend who I have never met in person to the podcast today. Alice Ramsay is simply an awesome human being. She's somebody I've been in a business group with for quite some time. And as you will hear listening to our conversation, we will talk about everything from entrepreneurship through to being brave, finding what actually lights us up and bringing as much fun as possible into our day-to-day life. Now, for those of you at home thinking, how on earth can this happen? This sounds absolutely ludicrous and I'm not going to waste my time listening to somebody that's going to tell me to go out and have fun all the time. Just listen. And I promise you, you will come away feeling inspired, feeling upbeat, and with some tangible pieces of advice to take into your day-to-day life. Alice is a moderator, an interviewer, and a speaker on a mission to help 1 billion people have more fun. As you will hear, she's had a career from an international lawyer through to founding her own communications agency and has definitely lived her life connecting with the power of fun. She's a daughter of a GP herself, so she understands where we're all coming from, and she's here today to help medical professionals like you embrace the power of fun and do their best work. Your fact for the day is that you hate it when somebody tells you something's going to be fun, ironically, and actually people call you Madge because your surname is Ramsay, and I was a massive fan of Neighbours.
Oh, same here. We would run in from the street to watch Neighbours, and the Madge thing is probably pretty accurate.
I love it. Before we hit record, Alice was saying that she prefers to be referenced as Charlene, but maybe we're a few decades too late.
Oh, so good.
Charlene so much. I used to it was probably my first ever love was Jason Donovan. I used to record all of the bits that he was in and then watch that wedding scene over and over and over again.
Oh, can we do it? Especially for you.
Nobody needs me to sing at this time of the morning.
I'm so glad we're less than a minute into the podcast and we're singing. I really believe singing is the way of the future, Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do like a duet after a couple of drinks with my university friends, but they are getting worse and worse. They're getting more and more out of tune and chaotic. But yeah, I mean that was a scene of TV gold, wasn't it? But we could talk about Neighbours for half an hour.
I'm here for it. I think entrepreneurial lessons from Ramsay Street. I think that's a niche.
I love that. Right. So you are here. First of all, you are here. You are clearly Australian. You live in Holland. I'm in Wales. Let's just kind of take the clock back. How are you here before we get into who you are and what you do? But how are you in Europe? Tell us a little bit about what got you here and we'll start piecing together how you are going to be able to help my listeners, because I know you are.
Absolutely. Well, I arrived in Europe 16 years ago as a very shiny, eager international lawyer. And I'd reached my dream of working in The Hague, the city of peace and justice. And the last thing, prior to that, I was working at the Australian Attorney General's Department. And the last thing my boss said to me, because I had a secondment for 3 years, it was an adventure. So that's the bit on paper. Personally, I was 34, single, and ready for a European adventure. So I think it's always important to fill out the perfect looking story on paper with the personal element. So my boss said to me, Alice, just whatever you do not fall in love with a Dutchman. So naturally, the first weekend I was out in The Hague. Seriously, there's a square in The Hague called Plein, where it's actually right next to Parliament. So it's really where movers and shakers in the country gather for drinks. So, of course, I was there on my first weekend, walk into a cafe, and I see the hottest Dutchman you've ever seen in your life. And very fortunately, he saw me, and the rest is history. So that's why I'm still here. And the reason I always bring meeting Eric into the story is the combined power of moving to the other side of the world alone and meeting this fantastic friend and partner. It was a great friendship as well. It gave me the confidence to bust out of a career that was not really working for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Australia-Netherlands piece. Every time I tell that story, it's a bit different because it's such a big move. It's multifaceted.
Yeah.
And I just would want to remind listeners when they're reading about any kind of journey or hop or business development, there's always so much else than the clean, pretty line that you see on paper. I feel really strongly about that.
Absolutely. We've got to fill in those blanks because there are so many of them. And at that point, you were ready for that adventure. You were ready for that 3 years. Were you feeling already this sort of itch to do something else outside law, or were you thinking that this would be very much a European law thing? Obviously, on paper, everyone was delighted because you were going to The Hague, but inside you, were you ready for the next thing?
Oh, inside of me, I was an absolute nuisance in the public affairs office. If the minister needed a speech, I was on it. If new legislation needed translating, I was there to put it into clear, simple terms that the public could get a hold of. I had been, I think, masquerading as a lawyer for quite some time. And what I didn't know is how brave I would get. So I could envisage, the whole, thinking of the transferable skills from being a lawyer to being, someone who works in public affairs or communications. But what I didn't envisage is how bold and creative and how much fun I used in finding my path out of the law, which is massive. And I'm thinking of your listeners as I say that. Anyone who's trained to be a doctor has committed a large part of their life to becoming an absolute expert in a highly important, regarded professional profession. It's your, I used to joke, I'm the bride of the law. And I can imagine doctors might feel, I'm a bride of medicine, it's it's your life. It's who you are.
Yeah. It's your identity. It's everything you've ever known. You said the word brave in there, and we come back to that a lot whenever I help and support somebody who's not necessarily leaving medicine altogether, but just creating their own take on it, or able to help patients in a very different way in this world that we live in, where we're on Zoom, we're communicating, we are able to learn from the right people at the right time. Like that world opens up possibilities for medics. But this feeling of this, actually I'm a doctor, get back in your box, actually this is what you've trained to do, with everybody telling you that that's what you've trained to do, and that how could you possibly do anything else? This word brave, you need to be brave, don't you, to be able to even make these moves to something aside medicine, let alone leaving altogether, which I don't advocate people do. That's not what I'm here for, to make people leave. It's about making it more aligned to what you want it to look like, and being able to help people in a different way. But you do have to be brave, right? When these ideas are flitting around your head. How important was that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you on not advocating any big sudden moves. So I looked up around me and I saw that I had access to the best legal minds. I had, judges in international tribunals. I had professors at leading universities. I had the cream of the crop literally at my fingertips. And that's where I started. I started pitching and reporting on aspects of legal, big, the first genocide conviction of the ICTY came down during this period. And of course, the news wires were reporting that faster than I could, but I could report human elements of that judgment being handed down, and how it felt in the courtroom and what was happening outside. And some of the sort of deeper, more reflective aspects. And where I got brave was, I rocked up to the tribunal, and this time I wasn't on the inside, I was outside with the press, and I just bowled up. I just almost took on a persona of who I wanted to be, which was the reporter, the investigator. And do you know, the craziest thing is, and I actually get goosebumps talking about it, because people accepted it. And I wonder, as someone who trained to be a lawyer, and it's still deeply embedded in me to study hard, prepare hard, do things by the book, it's regulated, there's a, level that you're working to. And here I was just winging it. But I was winging it within my comfort zone. I knew that the conversations I was initiating, I could have a good, intelligent conversation about this. So it was bravery within my area of where I had confidence, and a word, and then I promise I'll draw breath. I love talking about this because, of course, I'm still talking to myself, Joey. This never stops. This never stops. Like, I will use this in my day today. Keyword, get your pens and your paper, experiment. Experiment. Just experiment. And if it's no good, fine. You're still great.
Yeah, absolutely. Experiment, experiment, experiment. Little tiny experiments, little tiny moves towards what it is you want things to look like. But there's a couple of things there. One is being brave in your comfort zone, in your area of confidence. And when I speak to doctors, I try and say, you don't want to turn your back on all of those years of experience. Like, where have you spent your time? What do you know about? Who's in your world? Like, use those things to your advantage. So I love that. And I can just picture Alice, like, literally, like, having a word with yourself, putting on those shoes and behaving like the person you want to be. And we do have to do that, don't we? We'd have to look and say, right, that's where I want to be. Like, what would that person be doing, thinking, feeling to enable them to be able to do that? Absolutely.
I even rocked up I would rock up outside, say, the ICJ, and they literally pitch tents, and I'd stand on the other side of the road and I'd watch the people, how they're moving, how they're sidling up, and then I'd go and do it. So really a great thing I read by David Hyatt from the Do Lectures a long time ago is he drew a bird on a post, and he said, look around like a bird on a post and watch the people that you like the look of what they're doing, and watch them like a hawk. And I think that's something, I've really done and got a lot from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that. That perspective, isn't it? Perspective of what other people are doing, how they're doing it. And you can do that in real life and you can do that online, looking at the type of people that you admire, what they're writing about. And Dave, we're both big Dave Hyatt fans. And for those of you that don't know him or what they do, please have a look at the Do Lectures out in West Wales. We're going to come to it because Alice spoke there this summer. But they have, there are many things I've got from them, but that concept of looking online, looking at who you admire, what they're doing, how they're showing up, how they're what's working for you, what isn't, what you like the look, what you enjoy from their content, what you don't. So it's the same thing whether that's in real life or online. And this experimental approach is so different from what we do in medicine and what you do in law, right? You don't just wing it. It's the last thing you do.
Like I threw up in my mouth a little bit when I said that. Like it's so, forgive yourself for finding that a really tough one, because when I do, I still prepare like my life depends. And Joey, something that really helped me was a time I spent in corporate. In corporate, God bless them, and I'm probably never going to work with a corporate client again after saying this. But what I experienced time and time again is in corporate, sitting across, oh God, I don't know if I should say this, sitting across from people who look like they've got it all worked out, who sound like they know all the things. And you sit with them for a bit longer after the interview, because I interviewed a lot of these people, and you sit with them for a bit longer and you're like, oh my God, you're winning it. And you're the big cheese. And now I'm not saying all big, like the really big ones, the CEOs, they're made of other stuff. They're incredible human beings. And there are a lot of incredible leaders out there. But I will say, bless those, here we go, I'm going to do it again. Bless those men in suits who look like they've got it all sorted out, who are totally winging them. And I learned a lot from them. They drove me crazy, because the well-prepared, overworked, insecure overachiever within me was like, how do you get away with not knowing anything before we go into that meeting? But they were killing it. They were killing the game. And that gave me really important information of skills and qualities that I needed to grow into to be able to kill the game too. So I've got to give myself a talking to after that. There is something that has come to me that I really want to emphasize. And this, I think, this is the most important thing I'll say in this episode. Friends, follow the energy. As you're doing your consults today, as you're going about your working day, tune into yourself. Keep a sharp eye out. What is giving me energy? Is it sending my patient out the door? Is it when I'm deep in concentration working out what the hell's going on with that mole? Is it getting that kid to open their mouth to take their temperature? Like, what is the moment where I'm getting a shot of energy? Write that shit down. Like, that is your guide follow the energy. What is making your eyes twinkle?
Brilliant. So what sets your day apart, isn't it? What are those moments, those glimmers, those things that bring you the joy and the energy? And then with that, you do what? Like, what would you then suggest people do? Because are those things that you then need to like lean into and grow and sort of cultivate? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Once you've got a few of them down, you get it. They tell you about, and we're going to get very business speak now. They tell you about where your zone of genius is. So that effortless, your gift, that thing that just, it might be quietly writing up your patient notes afterwards. So that tells you that you're more reflective. You like writing, you might go into writing, it tells you about your skills and qualities to pursue. And I didn't know that I had so much to say about this. I started with those skills and qualities and then searched for where I could place them, not the other way around. I didn't say, I want to be a reporter, I want to be a journalist, I want to do this. I started with what gave me energy, what I saw people respond to, and then searched for where I could put it.
Yeah. And I find when I speak to the doctors that come through my Clarity program, which is like this sort of beginner container for people who are like, I really want to do something else. I don't really know what all of this involves. It's all a bit scary. But I know that I want to start something. And we do this exercise, drawing these things out. And it's often that sort of last thing that's mentioned. Is a bit like the doorknob thing when you're in consultations and people come in and they talk to you for half an hour and then on the way out they say, oh, by the way, I've got this massive lump in my breast. So whenever I speak to somebody, it's almost the last thing they say. I'm like, hang on, let's talk about that.
Oh my goodness. Talk to my therapist about the doorknob thing. I will sit there for an hour talking about, the way someone looked at me once. And then I'll say, oh, and by the way, I couldn't breathe this morning. That is so true.
Yeah,
so true.
It is. So you've got to dig really deep. And that's the advantage of having somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, like going through that with you, that process of getting that all out. So we're talking here about those brave and slightly different entrepreneurial skills that we need to kind of find to be able to go out. You're not born with this confidence to be able to go out there and use your network and do things that are totally out of your previous role. But talk us. We've now got to a point where we can imagine, loved up Alice in The Hague, ditching her legal career, hanging around outside these important places to jump in and interview people. But did that take you from law to journalism, essentially?
It took me from law into corporate communication. So right. I then got freelancing for actually Erasmus University, Rotterdam School of Management. That got me into personal development, working at RSM, introduced me to a large pool of corporates, and Joey, then the loved up pair needed a mortgage, my friend, and I was also really curious about what the inside of corporate life looked like. So the combined need of needing, a haircut and a real job, and I will say, even though it was the toughest part of my career, it was the most powerful and has brought me the most for this next phase I'm in now. So, and a house. We got a great house.
And a little one. You've got a 10, 11-year-old?
Yeah, she's 8.
Oh, 8.
She's 8. Yeah.
Onto her. Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
She still loves you and wants to hang out with you all the time.
Oh, she just this morning she was she helped me with this top, Joey.
Beautiful top.
And she she said, Mama, what are you doing this morning? Because, I was a bit, Eric's doing school run this morning because we're talking quite early this morning, which is just fantastic. And she was like, Mama, what are you doing? I said, I'm talking on a podcast, except this time I'm the guest. And she said, oh, do you like that? I said, oh, Frey, I love it. I said, I'm going to talk about fun. And I said, Frey, do you think I'm fun? She said, Mum, you are the most fun. And for me, my work is done.
Yes.
My work is done. Yeah.
Oh, I've got goosebumps. I love it.
Yeah,
so we need to move seamlessly, and Freya's helped us there. So we've got this lawyer. She's fallen in love. She's now gone into the corporate world. She's writing. She's listening. She's curious. She's watching everybody. And I'm seeing somebody that's basically just going in and being that bird in all of these environments. Is like information gathering, isn't it? Information gathering. So how has that led you to where you are now? Like, tell us that last bit and tell us about what you're doing now, because it's just amazing. I love it.
Oh, thank you, Joey. So having Freya, this was an epic path. So when she came, by then I was working at the Peace Palace in communications. And I'm going to show a bit of vulnerability here. I found it incredibly difficult to go back into work and be the mother I wanted to be. I mean, really tough. So I took what I called the summer of love to just be with her. And then after that, I went back to work. It really did not work for me. I was breastfeeding in a stationary cabinet. See, I can hardly talk thinking about this. And I could see that I was going to have to do things differently. And this is something I'm really proud of. I caught it early. I made what I called, and I remember going to really high-level events and announcing this, I'm taking a structured pause. I am funding myself for 3 months to not work, to not be looking after Freya full-time, but to reconnect with who I now am as a mother and a professional, and to work out how I'm going to do it. And I will get a bit woo here and say the universe said, right on, Alice Ramsay, I am here for this. The funding myself was really important, because else I would have just felt guilty that I wasn't contributing. And, I would have, it gave me the space to work out how am I going to do parenthood and professional, Alice, the way I want to do. And freelance work started coming in from my corporate days. Mm-hmm. And I frigging loved it. I was getting used to, who I was as a mother, and that included getting back into my body. And I had a long-running, full-on assignment with a swimwear and lingerie brand, writing all about body confidence and curvy stuff. And I remember, I couldn't go hard enough on this. I absolutely loved it. And work came out of the sky. Like, it was like a magic trick. I'd go from one project to the next, freelancing in comms, absolutely loved it. My assignments got bigger, more complex, more involved. And before I knew it, I was basically a mini McKinsey. I was doing business strategy. I was doing comms plans. I was getting really pissed off that I was getting paid as a copywriter and I was delivering full tilt business consulting services.
Yeah.
And I realized somewhere during the pandemic, this was on me. No one was coming to save me from myself. I had to up my prices. I had to change my offering. I had to reflect on how I was operating. And that was a hard and painful lesson.
Mm.
I'm getting to the punchline.
Mm.
Then I saw AI coming, and I felt it in the kind of work I was doing was getting more and more niche, that it was my energy, it was my human connection, it was who I was as a warm, connected, insightful human being, that companies were hiring me to tell their stories. And I thought, that's something that AI is never going to get. And AI is my best pal, I've got a lot of great things to say about it. I'm really glad I did wake up to that, because also my passion for writing other people's voice, whether it be a company or an executive, I also came to a point in my life where I was ready to find my own voice and what I had to say and what I think. And holy prawn, this is like late 40s. And it's been the best time of my life. Like finding what I find important and what I have to say, and I've described it in LHL. It has felt like coming out.
Yeah.
Really expressing, this is the full me. This is who I am. This is what I've got to offer. So it was really time to get from behind the computer, and something I'm really great is promoting others and trying it on for myself. And that's where the fun party started.
I love this. And this is just another example of this journey. Like, you didn't just wake up one morning and become an international speaker on fun and invited to speak all over the world. This is like 16 years of hard graft, bravery, experimentation, recognition that something's not working for you anymore and doing something about it, as opposed to just keeping going and flogging a dead horse. Learning from everyone around you, being super curious, that led you to say, right, what is it that I want to go out there, and what is it that I want to be able to bring to the world, and how can I help people? And this is where this one word, this fun, like the whole concept of you and what you talk about now in all different organizations is based around the importance of fun. Is that right?
That's it, Joey. When I distilled it all down, it was about connecting with that force that lives inside us all and releases our best, whether it's with home and health or in our working lives. In my work, I'm focusing on fun for high performance. Science shows, neuroscience backs that when we give ourselves permission to have fun in the course of our working day, we think better, we make better decisions, we work better as teams, we lower our stress, we build our resilience, and our creativity flows. Now, something that's taken me by surprise with this work is how much it has resonated with the medical profession. So one of my early keynotes was at an emergency care conference. And leading on from that, I've done workshops, to end PJ paralysis. I spoke with a falls lead from the NHS yesterday who's using my fun workshop to help train falls leads in her hospital to go back to patients and use small fun interventions to help people get out of bed and, not get bed sores. And she was so inspiring to me, Joey, because she's using fun. I like using it both for clinicians and patients.
Mm-hmm.
In the rehab space, it's really taking off. And to go back to my introduction, I groan when people say, "Come on, Alice, it'll be fun." I really think fun needs a rebrand. It's not, having to do the Macarena in the corridors at work. It's tuning into inside of you. And here's something that I hope people listening can take with them. Catherine Price we've talked about this before, I think, her research on fun, and she identified the elements as connection, playfulness, and flow. So connection, when you're really showing up as yourself and have that delicious feeling, like you and I talking now, you're putting me at ease. I hope I'm doing the same for you. We're able to really connect. Playfulness, is not, well, sometimes it's walking past a swing and just having a go for yourself. But like my favorite form of playfulness is shuffling pots in the garden, faffing around, cleaning up a few weeds, that's adult playfulness. And there's a fantastic book that has just hit the bookshelves on adult playfulness, which I'll give you for the show notes. And then flow is, when we're just lost in something and we lose track of time, and it's that whoosh that we feel inside ourselves. So when those three things come together, and I think it's really important to say, for me, it's having a sing, it's having a dance, it's doing knutselen. I'll be very European.
Doing what?
Knutselen is the Dutch word for craft, like doing arts and crafts with Freya, cutting and pasting and drawing. And, seriously, you could leave me all day. So what does that look like at work? It's like pinching. There's often an element of naughtiness. So like pinching the last piece of cake in the fridge with your favourite colleague and sharing it, or, it's really tiny moments that can charge you. Sorry, I'll draw breath now.
I love that. I love that. Let's put this onto almost like a template onto a busy day at work. Bringing in that connection, that playfulness and that flow. And I think if we cast our mind back 10 minutes or so, you talked about recognizing when you're in that kind of flow or things that you enjoy in your work. I guess that's another aspect, isn't it? Like, which for me, when I leave all my blood results until the end of the day and all of the letters till the end of the day. And it's often something I have to rush to do because I'm running late. I find it's not something that I love doing at all. And I'm just thinking, speaking to you now, maybe one thing I could do is challenge myself to, have 10 minutes in the middle of the day where I'm just getting ahead of the game so that I'm not got so many later on, almost like make a game out of something that I don't really like doing. Because we are, GPs, hospital consultants, we feel everybody is feeling very, very stretched. We're not able to do the kind of job that we want to do for our patients. We don't want to have 10 minutes to plaster over the problem. We want to have more time. We want to be able to have a deeper connection. We want to be able to help people properly. And we don't feel like we can do that anymore. And as a result, as a GP, I could go into work. I could not go into reception and say good morning to everybody. I could just go straight into my room. And then I would just be disturbed by the phone and people coming in and out, maybe if they need me. And then I could not go out at lunchtime, and I could stay in there until everybody's really gone home. That's a possibility. And there will be people here who are doing that, who are not having any interaction with anybody else. So even if we can take from this, those three things, and just like you say, those moments, even popping in and jumping out of the stationery cupboard and surprising somebody, or making somebody a cup of tea when they didn't ask, or, are those the kind of things? And, how else can we bring fun into our busy, stretched and stressful days?
Absolutely. I think what you just said is absolutely perfect. It's recognizing that having the quick chat with reception that energizes you is actually part of doing your job well. And then when things are going absolutely batshit later in the day, you will have had a laugh with Cheryl and she'll have your back and everything will go more smoothly. Really, I think the first thing that always comes to me is looking after yourself, filling your own cup. So even really small things, and do you want to do it now? Like just a quick getting out of our heads and into our bodies. So I won't stand up, but like shake it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right leg, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then a pose. Ha! Like, you can even do that sitting down between patients. And yeah. I promise you that the energy that you've just put into your room, fantastic. Joey, you've given me an idea. I want to make a document for your listeners with some quick, easy, and ideas that give more energy than they take.
Yeah.
And
love that.
It's really, this is where the journaling really helps, because I found that fun. Someone listening might be like, I would rather die, even if I'm in a room on my own. And this, what I'm hearing from more doctors is, I ask, what do you think's getting in the way of you having more fun? It's the feeling of, am I allowed? Is this okay? Am I allowed? I mean, you are doing the most important work. Like, I'm in comms, man. No one, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but compared to what you're doing, and my heart was really breaking with you hearing. I'm always amazed when I go to the GP and I think, oh my God, she caught all of that. And then the next person's going to walk in and she's got that every 15 minutes. Like, how? So I really hope that, that this work can come in and help fill your cup. It's not an extra thing to do. It's part of looking after you as you look after us.
I love that. And I've just been scribbling. Do you know what? I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to these things, but I love how everything in my life seems to happen for a reason. What you've just done online was called the rubber chicken. And when we did the How People in lockdown, Emma, who used to lead our assemblies with the girls, with the schools, she would do the rubber chicken, and that's what she'd do, and she'd call it that. So in my world, it's called the rubber chicken, and it's lovely to see. I haven't seen anybody do that or done it myself for a long time, and I've just written down like five 5 things that we can do really, really easily as busy GPs, hospital consultants. So first of all, you can have some sort of fight song or song that you love, either in your earpods or in the car. So you put it on 2 minutes before you arrive at work, something that's going to uplift you and give you energy. Go into reception, smile, say hello, pop your head around the door. It's going to take 2 seconds. So smiling at everybody you work with, saying hello. I think being the first to say hello to patients when you're around the surgery as well. You're walking down the corridors, good morning, like that sort of energy and atmosphere can shift your energy and theirs, right? Any act of kindness, whether that's buying a pack of Welsh cakes from the bakery that you walk past when you're doing a visit, or making somebody a cup of tea. And then movement, you're right, we're sitting there literally 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And you can be sitting, I sometimes have to stand up to make my phone calls because but my desk isn't right. And basically we're just there all day. So movement, doing the rubber chicken 4 times in that day. Imagine the energy.
Oh, imagine.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday recently, and a friend said, "Oh, do you have any birthday wishes?" And I said, "Post-it notes. I love me a good post-it note. Get some of these mofos and just leave a colleague a little smiley or, tiny things like that. Like, I can't tell you the joy of these.
Those are absolute belters as well.
I know. They're beauties, aren't they? She absolutely nailed the brief. So, and another one I'm thinking of, Joey, after this interview, you and I have to riff. I think we would we'd get a book. In our something, because this house is my office, I have a whiteboard in our bathroom, and I write Priya Parker magical questions on the whiteboard. So whoever visits that downstairs bathroom, aka most of the neighbourhood, at the moment, what's the favourite song that you're listening to at the moment? And people are writing down, oh my baby dog, you're my baby dog, and you sit on the loo and it's just whiteboards in bathrooms.
Whiteboards in bathrooms. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There is
I'm
gold.
proud of that one. Yeah.
Whiteboards in bathrooms. I love it. Right. So we could literally talk forever and quite often do. I would love you to just to kind of wrap things up. We've talked about confidence, bravery, entrepreneurship, transferable skills, pivoting, the career that you've created for yourself, decisions that you've taken, fun that you've had, opportunities that you've taken, curiosity has led you to these places. We didn't talk about, but before we wrap things up with your 3 top tips, what about, I just want to ask you about networking, because you talked about having a group of people at your fingertips. And this is another thing that doctors are really bad at, is using their network. How important is connection with other people and sending that email, jumping into somebody's DMs? That people don't find that very comfortable. How important is that?
Extremely. I think the moment I realized I'm a lone wolf, Joey, like I am 3,000% energy and it's all got to come from me. The moment I realized I can't do this alone was the moment I began to really flourish. And that brings in where you and I met at LHL. Really take a look at LHL, being surrounded by, that thing of, and I will stay focused on answering your question. You are the sum of the 5 people closest to you. I have noticed the people closest to me have really evolved as I have evolved. And that gives me the courage to back myself and go out and do what I really get it. Okay, 2 things I want to say about networking. See it as an exchange of energy. It's literally a network. It's a net. It's rock up and ask what you can do for them. It's you're giving them an opportunity, and just pop it there, and that's it. And if it's for them, they'll leap on it. If it's not, fine, get all Buddhist, detach. So I wrote on LinkedIn just this week referring to responding to something that a great Welsh entrepreneur wrote. Oh my goodness, how woo is this? Emir. And I wrote, to G myself up a bit, I'm getting so many no's at the moment, and I've never felt so alive because it tells me I'm getting out there and I'm giving stuff a crack. So that's the putting stuff in front of people. It's planting acorns. It's like, even if they don't pick it up now, you never know where down the track it comes. And again, I'm going to quote Do, givers get lucky. Give, and give some more. It makes networking easy. It makes doing business easy. It keeps you feeling great. It's energizing. And yeah, I appreciate this question because I personally really struggle with selling myself. I feel like I'm still really learning it. Like because I've always ridden on, oh my goodness, the quality of how hard I work and how deeply I prepare, and that speaks for itself. Well, guess what? Running a business, you're also a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And part of your job is networking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun, right? It is fun. You meet amazing people. We wouldn't be doing this if we hadn't put ourselves out there. So it's part of what you do. Learn to do it. Learn that it's about giving. Learn that it's about showing up. It's about finding out about other people. It's about being curious and telling people what you do. It's much easier when you know what you do and who you help. We're going to finish there because you are absolutely wonderful. Have you got any parting words for these medics that are sitting there wondering whether to do something different?
Yeah, back yourself. You're amazing. I wish you could see what I can see. Like, it's in you. It's in you.
Oh, you just brought a tear to my eye. Thank you so much for your time. You are utterly amazing. And I will speak to you soon. Thank you, Alice. We'll put everything in the show notes of how to contact you. LinkedIn, Instagram, all the usuals, I presume. Yeah, we'll put it all in the show.
Thank you, Joey. I've loved it.
Thanks for coming along. Take care. Bye. I hope this episode has sparked some new ideas or challenged your thinking. Transitioning from medicine to business is not easy. It's about adapting our skills while embracing the unknowns of entrepreneurship. It can be nerve-wracking, but remember, you are not alone on this journey. Please feel free to reach out to me via direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram, or just shoot me an email at joe@bendylegs.com for support. And don't forget to grab the free PDF from the show notes, From Stethoscope to Startup, which is your go-to guide and resource for diving into entrepreneurship. Many thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time. Thanks for spending your precious time with me.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.